as a natural myself, I couldn't find anybody to do my hair. It was either you could silk press it or you could twist it and lock it. And I'm like, I know my hair curls when it's short. And as it gets longer, I didn't quite figure it out. But then I knew that other people had to be like me who wanted to style their hair naturally, not straight, not locked. There was a meetup in Chicago at a place called Little Black Pearl Art Center. It held about 1,000 people. It was full to the gills with women lined up outside the door around the corner coming in because there was a 15-minute education session held by a product company. And this was in 2011. And so I realized there are folks out here who are looking for this type of information, this type of work.
I'm not afraid to write a brand new story. And what changes find a way to me, I can keep it moving. I'm not afraid to celebrate my glory. And when challenges grace my path, I know I can face another day. Inside, I rise, daring to learn. With Fox After 40.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to Fox After 40. I'm your host, Kim Lewis, CEO and co-founder of CurlMix. And today, you guys, we're talking about hair after 40. And we have one of my favorite pioneers in the beauty industry and hairstylist and cut specialist and natural hair expert, Elise Lauria. She's one of the first people who taught me how to do a wash and go and gave me my first curly cut way back in 2012, 13? I can't remember.
Years.
Almost 10 years ago. So I cannot wait to get into this conversation. It's going to be two parts. Make sure you check into the first and the second. The first one's going to be all about hair. The second one's going to be about the tea. Okay, so stay tuned. But before I get into before I talk to Elise, I want to go ahead and give you the bio. Elise is a licensed cosmetologist in Illinois, Georgia, and California, all three states. She specializes in precision curly cuts and bespoke color, focusing on creating low-maintenance styles that highlight the natural beauty of tight curls. Her approach emphasizes the cultural significance of natural hair, aiming to empower clients through education and personalized care. Elise, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so Elise, you have a really deep knowledge and experience in curly hair. I've seen you go bald. I've seen you shave one side of your head. I've seen you wear color. I've seen you wear your curly fro. You were the first stylist to do my curly cut. And I remember walking into your salon, and my hair was slathered in like the cheapest discount grocery store haircare products. And you were like, girl, like, what is this? And I'm like, ah. And I remember this is like in Chicago on the west side, way back. And I was the reason I went to you, I think that was the first time I spent like $200 on a haircut. Mm-hmm. But the reason I went to you is because I let my cousin who was in hair school do my hair before. Jack me up, girl. Like real bad. I never went back to her. But that was a lesson. And so I was like, I paid $200, $300 to get it right because getting it wrong is too expensive. It costs
I love that.
way more than $200 to get a bad cut, way more. So, because you got to spend 2 years to grow it out and all the things, you know what I mean? So anyway. And then you introduced me to the wash and go. Mm-hmm. And that kind of changed my life forever because I didn't think my hair curled before I met you.
Yeah. I
thought I wore my afros, I would do like the braid outs, the flat twists, all the things, but I was always having my hair up. I never knew my hair curled. Mm-hmm. I was like, my hair doesn't curl. You was like, yes, it does, girl. I'm like, no, it doesn't.
And I probably said it just like that.
yes. And then you had it's so funny. You were so artistic back then too because you had just finished your art degree at FAM, right?
Yes.
And so I remember you having like a really artistic Stylist photo with like a hand or something, like a fake hand in your photo. I was like, why does she have this artificial hand in her bio photo? I was like, this girl is strange, but it's okay. It's okay. Anyway, so Elise, tell me your background and how you got here.
All right, so it's a little convoluted, but I did get an art degree at Florida A&M University in 2007. But about 2 years before I graduated, I had a complete freak out. Like, what am I going to do with a undergraduate degree in art? And I had always wanted to go to cosmetology school, but being a graduate of Whitney M. Young Magnet High School in Chicago, you don't go to beauty school after high school. You go to college.
If you don't know, pause. Whitney Young is like the fancy bougie black, school in Chicago. Michelle Obama went there. I couldn't get in. Like, You got to be real smart to get into Whitney Young. Okay.
So yeah, I was expected to go to college, and so FAMU gave me a scholarship, even though I had great test scores and really bad GPA because I don't do homework. And so I went to college.
Kids don't.
Yeah, that. So I went to college. I was in the business program and decided I got bored. So I went to the art program. Never had painted or drawn in my life. I wanted a challenge. And so in the midst of that, freaking out, what am I going to do? I went to hair school. And so I graduated hair school in September 2006 and college in April 2007. And so I went straight into management. I didn't go into doing hair because I was a little scared. I went to a great school, but I didn't understand the why of what I was doing. I knew how to do it, but I didn't know why. So when a challenge would come up, I would freak out like, I don't know how to address this because this was not in the curriculum. Mm-hmm. So I went into arts administration. Recession of 2008, 2009 came, and I said, F this. I'm going to go do what I paid for. And I started doing hair and realized as a natural myself, I couldn't find anybody to do my hair. It was either you could silk press it or you could twist it and lock it. And I'm like, I know my hair curls when it's short. And as it gets longer, I didn't quite figure it out. But then I knew that other people had to be like me who wanted to style their hair naturally, not straight, not locked. Mm-hmm. So I started offering services I did in college, which was like single strand twist, double strand twist, flat twist, things like that. But the time I realized I could actually do this, there was a meetup in Chicago at a place called Little Black Pearl Art Center. It held about 1,000 people. It was full to the gills, with women lined up outside the door around the corner coming in because there was a 15-minute education session held by a product company. And this was in 2011. And so I realized there are folks out here who are looking for this type of information, this type of work. That was when I attended my first curly cutting class, and it wasn't meant for us. It wasn't meant for tight curls. And I came back and I tried to apply the skills to my clients, who were all Black women from the South Side of Chicago. And I had to stop myself in my tracks. So I was like, this is trash. This isn't going to work. And I had to figure out the why. I'm a why girl. I have to figure out why so that I have the rules and I know how to break them. Mm-hmm. When I figured out the why, I started with models, started with working with people, eventually started getting clients. And by the time I met you, I was in a solo large suite on the west side of Chicago. We were in like the corner of Humboldt Park in West Town. And I was shifting over my services from doing all the natural hair services, from pressing to twisting to curly cutting to regular cutting to everybody, strictly to curly cutting because that was what the demand was for. And that was I was really passionate about, was really showing Black women that our hair, number one, doesn't have to be difficult. We can style in a way that is free for us. We can wear our natural curl pattern if that's what we choose to do. Mm-hmm. And I've been passionate about that since.
So Elise, I would love for you to speak about how the curly hair movement and where it started and kind of how it changed, right? Because there's a lot of, I don't want to say gone are the days where you're going to get 1,000 women lined up for a 15-minute education series on curly hair.
Thank goodness, though. Thank goodness.
There's a lot more information out there, a lot more brands, a lot more. Mm-hmm. But back when you and I met, you know what I mean? Like, there were just, meetups were still a thing. You know what I mean? Like,
those were fun.
So I would love for you to kind of walk me through, and you could do it in 5-year increments. So it's been 10 years since I've known you, but you were in the hair probably a few years before that too. Mm-hmm. So maybe those 3 ways, I guess 2025 to 2010, 2010 to 2015, 2015 to 2020, and then the last 5 years.
So I want to make a really big distinction. There's a difference between the natural hair movement and the curly hair movement. I want to make those completely separate because then there'll be the folks with pitchforks like, ah. But so when I went natural, I was 19, it was 2003. There were no products. You had Long Hair Care Forum. You had a couple of blogs. Maybe blogs weren't even popular then. But you had people doing peer-to-peer situations. You also had some OG stylists like a New Prestonia, some other stylists in the DMV, New York area that were serving natural hair. And so there was a little bit of information, but you were just using whatever products you used on your hair. So that was about 2003 to about 2008.
Okay.
And then in 2008, that's when you started seeing like blogs really becoming popular. YouTube had just come out. People weren't even using YouTube for hair yet, but there was now a platform to share video. And so that 2008 to about 2012, 2013 era was where natural hair and curly hair were really kind of meshed into one. We were discovering our hair. We were discovering ourselves. We were discovering the possibilities. We were understanding that products that were created for relaxed hair had more protein, more things to provide strength, because we broke down the strength of the hair with the relaxers, versus we didn't do that with our natural hair. So we were like, we need more things. We had product companies coming up. People were making stuff in their kitchen, in their basements. They were selling it on Etsy.
Yes,
they
I
were
remember.
selling it at these meetups. So my favorite thing at the meetups was finding new products. This company who was mixing in their kitchen came and got a table, and I had a table for my services, and I'd just be walking around like, oh, you got that and you got that, and I'm grabbing up products because that's what I have. I got what the Pro Beauty Supply store has, and none of that, not none of it. Most of it's not working. And so I get to involve, like, especially Black-owned brands into what's happening in the salon. And then you have, like, 2013 to about 2018.
Oh, before you get to 2013, I want to mention or highlight, like, the Hey Friend Hayes, the Janelle Stewarts, the Natural Chica, Natural 85.
Beautiful Brown Baby Doll.
Girl, like, and this is back when Shea Moisture was buying blogs. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was money to be made, like, in this era of Carol's Daughter was on, was owned by Lisa.
Carol's Daughter was sold at the time, and they came out with the hair milk line.
Yes. Well, but before they sold. What do you mean? Because I was introduced to Carol's Daughter back in college in 2009, 10, I want to say.
I was introduced to Carol's Daughter in 2004.
Oh, wow.
When she was still literally making it in her kitchen and labeling it.
Wow.
And so when
Wow.
I came back on the scene when Carol's Daughter was doing hair, it was right after they got sold, because I got tapped to do a stage presentation for them.
Gotcha.
With their first line after they got sold, and they got into Macy's.
If you've gotten any value from listening to Fox After 40, you learned a beauty tip, you've gotten advice, you shared the episode with a friend, please do us a favor and leave us a review on Spotify and Apple. It goes a very long way in helping us continue to build the podcast. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next episode. How many brands have you worked with?
I don't actually know.
It's
I
a
know
lot.
at least 10.
Okay.
Some of those brands don't exist anymore. Some of those brands exist on a different level where they're serving all hair now. But at the beginning, a lot of them were very, very small and bootstrapping everying.
And you were meeting everybody at the Natural Hair Expo in Atlanta.
Yes, and
That's
not,
where everybody
not
was
even
going.
Atlanta. Some of them were coming up to Chicago too. Because this was before I started coming down here.
That's true, because we were in Chicago up there. Yeah, okay. Sorry to interrupt. Okay, keep going. We're in 2013, 14-ish, 2013 to 18 of what you were saying.
So 2013 to 18, that is, to me, that's the age of the influencer. And I want to separate influencer from our original OGs, because the OGs were really the folks who had the hair that caught attention, and they were really exploring for themselves. They weren't necessarily being tapped by conglomerates to do campaigns. This was the beginning of that. But 2013 to 2018, that really ramped up. You also saw more investment in products. So we got better marketing, better placements put into stores. We exploded in the availability of both content and product to use. And right, wrong, or indifferent, it was a wild, wild west, and it was great. For some, it was, what I know I experienced was folks doing things and then coming and sitting in my chair and crying because I'm like, I can't fix this. We're going to either have to transition or we're going to have to cut.
Because you would have people come into your salon, like, I put eggs in my hair, I put mayonnaise in my hair, I dyed my hair with vinegar, or I dyed it with, not vinegar, with bleach, or
with Sun-In, or with
what is Sun-In?
Sun-In is a product you get at the drugstore, but you put it in, you go in the sun, and you have uncontrolled lifting.
Oh,
so it just exposes the natural tone underneath the hair follicle, like underneath the hair.
Ooh, what did that do?
Blanche.
Oh, blood orange.
So, no, not blood orange, but like blanche, like that. My dad called it skillet blonde. Where it wasn't quite light enough to be a color, but it was really like that light orangey color that was unintentional when you went and got a box.
Oh wow, okay.
Color. And so it was a lot going on at the time, for people overdoing things, to people underdoing things, to food being added to hair. And I'm like, I get it. These are some old recipes that we've always had, some things that are cultural. Yeah. But then you also think about, one day I was making eggs. I had a little baby and I got distracted, and 2 hours later the eggs are in the bowl. And now I got to soak it for 24 hours because the egg is stuck to the bowl. The people are coming to the salon with like avocado chunks like rotted in their hair. Like these are real experiences. These are experiences of folks wanting to come for a silk press, but they've been adding so much drugstore or frying type oil into their hair that if I added a flat iron to that hair, we would be sizzle, crackle, and popping.
We're cooking, yeah.
Yeah. And then so 2018 to, I will say about now, we've kind of had more of an even amount of growth. A lot of the companies that got popular in like 2013 to 2018 didn't survive 2020. Especially the Black-owned brands because of the lack of capital. And these brands were successfully bootstrapping. But 2020 put a halt to a lot of things. It also accelerated a lot of things. And so we everything came out in the wash in about 2022. And now we've been on this trajectory of folks truly realizing they can do anything with their hair.
Yeah.
You relax it, color it, straighten it, wear it curly, wear it twisted, be bald. Like we're gaining this level of freedom.
Yeah.
And reclaiming the fact that I know hair is cultural for Black women, but sometimes we get to adopt the idea that hair is hair too.
Yeah.
And I think we're there right now.
And so this is like the natural hair movement, correct?
That's a natural hair movement. On the side of it is the curly hair movement, because there were folks who are not Black who have curly hair. 60 to 75% of the world has some sort of bend in their hair. And so folks are reclaiming that from beauty standards of straight, bone straight hair, especially when you think about when flat irons came out. Yeah. You can now easily take any bend in our hair, no matter who you are, and iron it to death. And that was I know that was my teenager, early 20s.
For sure.
And so we had people who were embracing what the industry tends to call natural texture. Texture is the diameter of hair strand. I like to call bend or curl. And so alongside of that, women with tighter curl, we're seeing women with looser curl wearing their hair, being free, and not saying that they were the standard or who to look up to, but it's like, can we have that type of freedom for ourselves? So we started exploring wearing our own curls. And I think about it back to 2013, 2014, there was a blogger named Quest for the Perfect Curl. I don't even remember her real name, but she consistently wore wash and goes. There were other folks who were like, I know I have a bend in my hair. I don't want to twist my hair.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to go through this process that sometimes requires me to do it nightly or every other night. And so I just want to wear my curl. And so that really grew alongside of it. And honestly, we really didn't start getting products specifically for that until CurlMix. I'm gonna be real. There's some product lines that had some gels in them. Yeah. There's some product lines that had some curl creams in them, but we did not get an actual line until CurlMix.
I'm flattered. But what do you wait? I'm sure there's people listening like, what is she talking about? That is not true. How do you mean? Because there's other brands, you know what I mean? There
are other brands, but and those brands within them have some products that can work. But oftentimes they were not marketed
for curly hair.
For curls, for wearing tight curls. And so the day you brought me into the salon and said,
thank you, ma'am.
Because it came out in the box first. That's what a lot of people don't know. It came out in the box first, and it was popular.
And she was like,
It's like, I'm not mixing nothing. No, I didn't even say that was great. The ingredients were fine. I was like, but I'm not mixing nothing in a box. Yeah. I'm just not doing it. There was too much personal life going on at the time. But when you brought me the bottles, it was like, try this. And I was like, and I remember standing behind the bowl, you in the bowl. I was like, if I was ever to create a product line, this is what I was going to create. But I'm never creating a product line. So go ahead, please create this. Please, we need this.
I remember that. I remember because I didn't want to initially start a product line because there were so many. I was a part of the movement too. So I grew up watching. I started being obsessed with natural hair in like 2008, 2009. Yeah. And then it was like, okay, 2014. I was like, I'm not doing a hair care line. I'm like, well, people want a hair care line. So then I pivoted to a hair care line in about 2015. But no, I agree with you. It was more so. Because there's a lot of work. Like, who gonna, there's a lot of work. Oh my God.
It's like, who wants to do that? I'm like, I'm firmly in my lane of give me the products and let me figure out how to work with them with the hair that's coming to the salon. Yeah. And I think that is where a lot may get lost in nuance is we're as stylists working with the hair that's coming to the salon and the frequency it's coming to the salon. And so after CurlMix, it seemed like there were companies that did spring up surrounding curly hair.
Yeah.
Curly hair was more seen. Tight curly hair was more seen.
Yeah.
It started to become more accepted to wear your natural curls, whether they were perfectly shingled and defined on day 1.
Yeah.
And they were big and fluffy and undefined on day 7 or day 10 or day 14, however long you like to push it out. And so it was the acceptance that we could wear our hair, how it grew out of our scalps, defined or undefined.
So I have a question around consumers picking brands to kind of rock with, right? Like products to use and like how to mix and match. How do you recommend people evaluate brands and things like that for their hair?
Ooh, that is a good question because I don't actually have them evaluate brands.
Okay.
I know that is a very consumer-driven mindset, but honestly, I haven't been because I've been in the beauty industry itself for 21 years. I started out as a nail tech before I became a hairstylist, so I've been in the industry a long time. It's very difficult for me to see from a consumer perspective, although there are times where they be like, "Yo, we need it like this."
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But if they're evaluating brands, number one, I try to figure out who's the owner, what problem was that owner solving for themselves or for the market.
Yeah.
And then where did that product company originate? So there's some product companies that say, we're here in Atlanta, it's pouring down rain. I'm looking at, okay, this product company was created in X place where it rains a whole lot. It's always humid. And they created products to reduce their frizz.
Yeah.
If that's a challenge you're having, that's maybe where you want to look. Or this owner has tight, coily, curly, coarse hair, and they created a product that serves them. If you have similar hair,
right.
Not saying you have the same hair, they're making the product and addressing the product to address those challenges. And so when I think about that, that's how I think about brands.
Yeah.
When I think about individual products is take the observation of your own hair. What's the condition of your scalp? What's the condition of your hair? What's your lifestyle? How much time do you have in a week to address your hair? What is your preference for definition versus lack of definition? I know personally, this twist out probably gonna go 3 weeks. I'm gonna be real honest. This is day 2. I'm gonna figure out some
it's
way
cute,
to
girl.
make it.
3 weeks is great. My hair did not, tight texture. I don't know.
No, I blew it, but that's because I blew it out.
Oh, there you go.
And then I did it. And then it's going to completely turn into a fro, but I'm okay with that.
Did you do with the foam or cream?
Cream and foam.
Okay. I was like, it's giving cream and foam.
Cream and foam.
But I was like, let me ask.
But see, you can see exactly where it's going to expand because it's not super condensed. And so with that, it's like, what do you want? And that is some of the things I see in the salon is there's so many folks that don't know the possibility of their hair. And then there's also folks who don't know what they want from their hair. And if they do know what they want, is what they want really realistic?
They want somebody else's hair.
For their hair. And so it's very much giving, I can only do what I can do as a stylist. I can make it look, I can do what you asked me to do. I can't make it look like your expectations if your expectations.
And that's something I want to address. Because I remember when I came to your salon, I think I probably showed you like a heart-shaped head. I can't remember, and you just chuckled. I remember you did the same chuckle because everyone shows you like a heart-shaped type of, you know what I mean, and you're like, okay, girl, like what's your thought when people show you this heart-shaped hair that people bring into the salon? If you've enjoyed this episode of Fox After 40 and want to get notified about the next episode when it drops, make sure to go to CurlMix.com and sign up for our mailing list. We'll notify you whenever a new episode comes out.
I love this shape, and when I think of heart shape, there was a Pinterest photo. I can't find it anymore. It might be somewhere really deep down in my archives. That heart shape literally is like short at the top, comes to a tail on the bottom. It's an achy breaky heart. Like it's an actual mullet.
Okay.
So that's the image. That's why I chuckle, because that's literally the image that comes to my brain, which is a very fly shape, but that's not what most people are asking for.
Yeah.
When they show me that, I actually like to ask more questions. And that's why what I realize, and sometimes in stylist client relationships is, especially Black women, we can be the CEOs of a corporation and we will take off our power and put it on the floor when it comes to sitting down in a stylist chair.
Oh, that's true. We won't say anything.
Won't say anything.
You'll just let the stylist do whatever and then be like,
And so it's very much to me, and I almost have to force this in my relationships where I'm not doing your hair, is this is a conversation.
Yep.
You are bringing a vision to me and I'm here to execute it. So when they said that, I was like, what do you like about it? And they said they like the volume.
Okay.
They like this. But then I'll say, okay, what do you want? What's your lifestyle? What do you want to do with your hair? Because you realize heart-shaped is, are you willing to cut off half of your length so this lifts up and pops out? And they're like, no.
Exactly.
I'm not willing to cut off.
And I remember coming to you because I had gotten color at some point, and someone else did my color and like straightened my hair, and my hair like fell out because it was like blonde, and then it was straight, and it was all that done in one day. And I remember you telling me like, Kim, you're not gonna do your hair enough to have color. It was like, if you're a lazy natural, then you got to be doing stuff for your color treated hair. And that's one of the reasons I have not gotten color. I do the color waxes, I'll do the flakes, whatever, because I am not going to keep up with blonde hair, even though I love it and I want it. You know what I mean? So I agree with that on that lifestyle piece for your hair for sure, 1,000%.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't color my hair for 4 years because we went through 2020. I had a baby in 2020. I had a toddler and an infant, and those toddler and infant are intense. I knew my lifestyle didn't support having blonde, because this is blonde under here. But as soon as that 4-year-old learned to wipe his own butt,
and then he was like, it's time for some color.
Mom was ready to pop out because lifestyle shifted and changed. And so I think sometimes we have to give ourselves the grace to know that what I did 4 years ago may not be the same thing I'm doing now. 4 years ago, I had a taper cut that was shaved in the back. Clearly, it's gone, long gone.
That's kind of high maintenance too, though. Like a taper cut, because you gotta, or at least if it's shaved, because you gotta keep doing that. No,
it wasn't high maintenance because I was in the house for 2 years. It grew out.
I see. And if you do color, what are some maintenance things that you're having to do that are different from your natural routine? Likely,
I'm having to stay on top of my cleansing and conditioning. I personally, and I'm not. This is not prescriptive to anyone else. I personally can't go over 2 weeks without cleansing and conditioning my hair because my hair starts to web. Because one, I'm a hairstylist, don't do this at home. I use 35 volume and a lightener on my hair because I had 3 hours.
Okay, well, I don't know what that means.
The higher the volume, the more rough it is on the hair. When I do my clients, I'll use 15.
Gotcha.
On my own hair, I'll use 35.
So you're stripping the hair.
It's not so much you're stripping. The way color works is that cuticle is a protective layer. You're taking that cuticle, making it go like this, exposing the inner parts of the hair, pulling out the melanin, and then putting in artificial pigment. Well, with bleach, you don't put the artificial pigment in. You do that when you tone it. When you go at a higher volume, it does it faster and more rough. And so with my clients, I'm low and slow because I want to maintain the integrity of the hair. My hair, if I mess it up, I can cut it off.
Same. I feel that.
So it's right now I'm doing protein treatments. I'm doing bond treatments. I am treating it like a baby. I don't brush through it, whether it's straight or curly, because I've actually been wearing my hair straight a lot more often because I feel like I did when I was 19 and I was cute. Because 41 hit me and was like, okay, girl, you feel like a teenager again. Yes. And it's just staying on that schedule and listening to my hair, knowing that if it starts breaking or doing something, I need to bring in my protein. I need to bring in my moisture. I need to get in my bonding treatments. I need to sit with them for a minute.
And see, I don't have to do none of that. Like,
see? She's like, I just do my hair and go.
Girl, like I just be shampoo and conditioner. I might rinse the conditioner out. I might not. Like I do a flat twist. The next couple days later, I might blow it out. And I just got to make sure I wash it within 7 to 10 days. But I don't want to do nothing else for real. I do a cute little style here or there, but and I know that because I do want to blow my hair out, which is why I don't color it. Because I would be brushing through it, adding heat, all the things. And so, no. See, you got to know lifestyle. What works for you? What works for you? You mentioned expectations around people, what they want, what they think they want when they come in, and what they actually can do with their hair. How do you see people's confidence kind of transform as from year 1 to year 5? Like, what are you seeing when people kind of go natural? What they expect it to be, and then what it is, and then kind of where they end up?
I haven't had any new natural clients in a long time. Even though it doesn't seem like it, I do still take clients. I have this entire time. It's just that I've made a policy that my clients are not my models, so they don't get put anywhere. But for me, what it was when I was seeing a lot of new naturals, say 2016 to 2018, it was, I don't know what my hair does. And you had one of two type of people. You had the people who big chopped, who said, I want to learn it from the ground floor. Take me half an inch, 2 inches, and I'm going to learn it from the beginning. And then you had people who were, I want to go natural, but I'm scared. I've never had short hair. I don't know what this curl pattern is like. I don't know what this texture or how to work with this actual strand thickness. Because when I get my hair relaxed, it feels like this. It looks like this. It shines like this. And this is uncharted territory. And so...
What does that fear look like in your chair?
Oh, that fear looks like holding on until they're comfortable. It looks like having two heads of hair and dealing with the struggle, because for most people, it's a struggle to the point where that line of demarcation between natural and relaxed, or natural and what was pressed.
How often do they cry in your chair?
Oh, a lot.
Really?
Yeah. And I'm an Aquarius.
What that mean?
I don't do tears well.
She said, "Stop crying in my chair, girl."
No, I'm not like that, but I'm very much, I'm kind of like a step back and observe. It's like, how can I help and affect this situation positively? Sometimes it's by stepping back. I eventually had to learn how to be more outwardly empathetic in terms of like hugging, supporting, you go girl. But again, Aquarius introvert. So I'm like, I'm just here to do hair. My degree is not in psychology. But I also have a colleague who is a trained therapist who does natural hair. And some of the ways I've seen her work through it, we worked in the same salon for a while. And I'm observing how other people handle folks' emotions. It helped me a lot to know that these are some really deep intrinsic things folks are shedding. They're shedding stuff that their mom said they're about their hair, that their family believed about their hair, that they're currently saying about their hair. And so this, like, it's just hair and it's not just hair. And so like you end up having those two different clients and understanding how to navigate them. And it's just the ability to individualize each client is so important. That's not just for their hair care, but for how you approach them, how you approach everything. And then realizing you can't be everything for everybody. You just can't. Yeah. And there was a point in my life where I could no longer take transitioners. If you were ready to big chop, if you were emotionally secure, even if you cried, because like sometimes that cry is a release. It's a release of like, I did it. Yes, cool. I can handle that. But the time where, because through all of this, as we were kind of both doing our thing, I went through a divorce, a very, very long, drawn out, painful one. I moved my life from the city I had grown up in to a city that I've been wanting to live in forever, realizing it wasn't the city that it was when I was in college. Right. And so there was a lot of transition going on. And I had to realize for my own mental health and structure, I can only handle the release, ready for it type of folks. I couldn't handle the folks who needed much more of the super empathetic support. But I also had people say, hey, you need to go to this person because this person, they're so good at this.
Elise, we're about to wrap, but I want to know if you have one parting piece of advice for people going natural after 40, you know, just something, some advice.
So going natural after 40, I love it because everybody says this and I've always had friends that were older than me and I didn't believe them until it happens. It's like somewhere around like 40, there's a switch that flips and it's your effort switch. And you really, it's like, even if you really didn't care what people thought about you and how you showed up in the world affected them, it changes. I know for me and for the other 40 plus something folks I've talked to is you start looking at your life. You start looking at who you have been up to this point because you're now, on average, you're middle-aged. I've already been through the sandwich generation of caring for my parents and having a parent pass and understanding and looking back at their life.
And just so people know, you're in your 40s.
I'm 41, actually.
There we go. Okay, gotcha.
So, and this, all of the wildness that's happened in my life happened between 39 and 41. Like it happened at 29 and 31, and now something's happened again at 39 to 41. And it's like you look at your life and you take stock of this thing. And is this who I am authentically? Is this how I want to show up? And if you've decided to go natural and this is how you want to show up, lean into it. Yeah. Get with someone who can guide you the way you want to go. Not just get with somebody. Get with someone who can guide you the way you want to go and hold yourself in your power. Do not release your power when you find a stylist. The best stylists understand that a relationship is two-sided. You give, they give. You have a vision, they deliver it. That vision is pulled together. And stand in who you are. If somebody makes a comment about your hair,
Exactly.
And because again, as I look forward and I see my family, I might have more life ahead than I have behind me because I have many relatives that have lived into their late 90s. But I also have relatives that didn't live past 65. And so if all I got is 15 to 25 years, I'm not going to care what nobody says, nobody thinks. I'm going to show up as authentically as I can as myself. And I really hope that if you're going natural after 40, that you are able to stand in it as well.
Thank you so much, Elise, for coming on the pod. You guys make sure to stay tuned for part 2, where we're going to get into the tea. Yeah. Thanks for listening to Fox After 40. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and leave any questions you might have for Elise. All right?